Welcome to The Authentic Exchange. I'm your host, Josh Bird, and today I feel like we have an exciting conversation in the sense that it's a conversation that I think will ease confusion. It's a conversation that I think that should help promote some awareness. It's a conversation that gives a thoughtful reflection of how to lean in better as a husband. It's a conversation that I think is very, very much needed because a lot of us, both men and women, are facing and dealing with this. And nobody has all of the answers. Can you imagine for a moment waking up and not feeling like yourself, waking up angry, waking up confused, forgetful, and you can't quite figure out what's going on? You just know that you don't feel like yourself. You're not intentionally trying to do anything, but the effects of what you're going through can be felt by everyone around you. That's a brief snapshot into what a lot of the women that I sat down and spoke with have acknowledged and said they feel. And oftentimes as men, when women are having any type of issue at all, we write it off and we generalize it as, oh, they're just being emotional. Oh, women are emotional creatures. And there's so many changes and things and dynamics that are going on. And again, women are often not quite aware or have the words or the language to describe what's going on. This is generally a difficult time for most women. Today's conversation is about perimenopause. Perimenopause is the hormonal change stage that women go through. It's the period of time that lasts from mid to late 30s up until probably the early 50s for most women. It's a period of time where women experience incredible hormonal shifts. Perimenopause is the time where everything is out of whack and out of control, and a lot of women struggle. What I've heard over the years is that this perimenopausal period gets generalized and boiled down to hot flashes. And as I've learned, as I'm going through this period with my wife, I'm learning that it's so much deeper than that. And I feel like we've done women a disservice by not having this conversation. So many of the women that I've spoken to have expressed that they didn't feel like they were prepared. They didn't feel like they were made aware of what was actually going to happen during this period of time. And so you have women who are wrestling and they're trying to figure out and understand what's going on with them. They're trying to figure out why they don't feel like themselves. And sometimes they're even wrestling with feeling like they might be crazy because they can't explain, they can't articulate what's going on. They have all of these different changes that are taking place. And on the outside, as an observer, you have us, like myself, a husband. You may have a boyfriend or a significant other who's watching, who sees, who's feeling the effects of every change that's taking place, but we don't have an understanding or a reason why. I wondered if it had something to do with me. Was she responding to something that I did? Was she behaving in this way? Did her attitude change because of something that I did? Every woman will have to deal with perimenopause. Perimenopause is not the same as menopause. And no, this is not me trying to explain women or diagnose women or anything like that. This is me wanting to have a conversation in hopes that it facilitates better understanding, hoping that it facilitates connection, and hoping that it allows the men that are dealing with these women to lean in more and have grace. This is something that women will deal with. Every single woman in your life will deal with perimenopause at some point. And as a man, it's going to help if you're there and you are knowledgeable about what's going on. If you can show grace, if you can lean in, I challenge you to have a conversation. Ask questions, get curious, and always show grace.
Authentic exchange where the vibes gon' flow. Truth on the table, let the real one show. Hearts beat loud, no facades, just raw. Seen it, heard, breaking down every flaw. Law, we connect in a space where the souls collide.
Let me start off by saying, you are
Marc Jameson. Yes.
All right.
Legend.
I've known you for a number of years, but I feel like over the last few months, I've got to know you a little bit more in depthly, and I appreciate your authenticity. I appreciate, the conversations that we've had in the past, and just you're comfortable enough with yourself that I think you can have this conversation. Not a lot of men are or know how to approach a conversation.
Yeah.
This can definitely be a little sensitive, just in terms of, discussing how you feel about it, but also taking into context how your wife might feel about this. And so I'm happy to have you. Is there anything you want to share or say to our viewers that they need to know about you as an individual before we get started here today?
I may overshare, but I like to use the term, can we cuss on here? Or
Yeah, go for it.
So people say real nigga. I feel like I'm a real nigga because I allow real things to happen. It's not street credibility or, having to do with being a gangster or doing somebody to somebody else. Like, I'm like, I'm real for that. Because I allow, like my wife, this conversation is based on her. This year is our 15th year in marriage. And it's been a great experience, a great ride. And it's a learning. Like I always tell people, your experiences dictate how tomorrow goes and how you handle things. And you never want to stop learning. That's key. Once you stop learning, it's a wrap. Because some of our parents wasn't programmed to what we have to adapt to today. Because all men knew, work, come home, put the check down, my food better be ready. Now, the women make more than us. So that line is completely blurred by my father because he like, well, what's going on here? And it's unfortunate, but he stopped learning at some point. So for me, it's keeping my eyes on the prize. And in theory, your wife is the prize. People treat their wives like they're something they can just get rid of and get another one. But if you decide to make that woman your prize, she the prize. Like she's number one. She's the top. Guys, I'm the man in the house, but you got to be soft to something. You ain't got to be hard all the time. And that's just, you don't have to be hard all the time, man.
So let me ask this. You said you guys been married 15 years?
Yes.
How long you been together?
15 years. So I met her November 1st, 2010. and we were married August 3rd, 2011.
Okay. I always ask that because me and my wife go back and forth, and I ain't got no exact numbers here.
We were together. So I met her November 1st at Tongue and Groove. And then the next day we went to J. Alexander's.
Okay.
And we haven't been separated since.
Oh, wow.
We haven't been separate since.
Okay.
So she was never my girlfriend. We was just together.
Okay. So would you say your energies have aligned?
Yeah, definitely. They was on par. They was destined.
So how would you describe 15 years is a long time. Congratulations on that. I'll say congratulations because I'm year 6 of marriage, and I've learned that marriage is difficult. Marriage has challenges. I think marriage will force you to grow if you're willing. It'll present opportunities for you to grow, to learn, as you said before, to grow and evolve as an individual. But you're growing and evolving with somebody else, and hopefully you guys are going in the same direction. That being said, how would you describe this current season of marriage for you? Because I'm sure year 15 ain't like year 1 or 2 or year 5, but
so year 15 is good. Like I felt like we've always went up on the chart. Every year it's progression. Regardless of if something bad were to happen, it's still a upward progression because it's like, we got together, we were younger, finances weren't the best, but now it's like finances are stable. We got, in theory, we have the white picket fence, got the house, got the dog, got the cars. Mm-hmm. We accomplished the American dream, I should say. And then from there, it's like, what else can we do? So it's fun, man. It's when you got your partner as your best friend, your confidant, your person you can lean on, you could cry with, you could shop with, you could laugh with. The sky's the limit, man. Your person needs to be your best friend, and he needs to be your best friend, like period, point blank.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, it's good.
I can tell, from past conversation and even how you just described, the relationship, you really care for your wife, man. And I think you care for your wife in a way, I'm a barber by trade. And so I talk to a lot of men, and I don't think that everybody cares for their wife in the same way.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of us that are married. However, like I said before, I don't think everybody cares for their wife in the same way. But
a lot of people put that we have kids thing at the forefront of why they won't exit. Oh, we got kids. They need to be. We got to have a family, and that's huge for somebody that's in a marriage because they don't want to leave because of the kids. Mm-hmm. Y'all need to have that conversation up front. Like, listen, man, if we got to split, let's split amicably. Mm-hmm. Period. Like I told my wife, if she ever felt the urge or felt a reason to leave, let's talk about it. Just tell me. Don't drag it out because every time you look at me, you got a look of disgust in your face. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't harbor feelings to me and I'm around cleaning, cooking, and you mad at me on the low. That's not cool. You shouldn't treat your rock like that.
So, you said something that stood out to me. And what you said was don't harbor feelings.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, I think you have to have a level of communication.
Absolutely.
Honest, transparent communication, effective communication that will allow you to have the conversations that are necessary not to.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that you can be married, I'll say at least as long as you guys have, and not have some feelings pop up. You know what I'm saying? But being able to create the space or hold the space for your partner, whether it's you, whether it's her, to sit down and have a conversation when something seems off or some feelings arise, I think is very important. I think it's even more important given the scope of this conversation and us talking about, navigating perimenopause alongside your wife. And so my question for you is, when did you realize that something had shifted? When did you, see something or recognize something that was noticeable for you?
Well, she would have her regular cycle.
Yeah.
But maybe a year ago, it was to where she was really hard on herself.
Okay.
Like, man, I feel bad for this woman. I feel bad for the individual. Not my wife, not my friend, her. She had to deal with an internal struggle that was just beating her down. So I'm like, man, anything we can do to help you, I'm for it. So, we kind of just, as people do, sweep it under the rug. It's just like, man, my cycle's getting worse. Maybe I'm going in the menopause. Because we haven't been, the doctor didn't say, oh, this is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's just, it was taking a toll on her, man. And it was like, we knew at least 2 days for sure she would just be a wreck. If she did, kind of feel some way towards me, I knew, it's their time. And she's getting older, and it's just what it is. I didn't take it personal because I would hate to lash out at somebody and they can't control it.
Okay.
If you got a situation you can't control, then that's not fair for her. Because if she says, "Oh, you have a bad day," and I'm like, "Well, you have a worse one," that ain't cool. Like, I can't attack you because you don't have no control over your hormone. So this went on. We just would say, man, we got to find a solution. She asked our doctor, and they kind of want to put you on some sort of not. I guess it would compare it to like a ADHD type medicine.
Okay.
Or some a suppressant.
Okay.
That's what your doctor is going to prescribe to you. Like, oh, you could take this.
Now, was that meant to help suppress how she was feeling?
To kind of get her hormones aligned.
Okay.
That's what they just automatically assume.
Okay.
And, nobody wants to take that because then you feel some type of way.
Okay.
Like, nobody wants to take anything that's going to have a negative impact on their feelings. So it was like, I'll try it. And then it's just like, no, I'll tough it out.
Let me ask this. You said you felt bad for her as an individual because there was an internal struggle going on. What did you see that made you recognize hey, man, there's something going on inside?
Well, she would cry. Like, my wife is tough.
Okay.
And she would just sit at her desk and cry. She would call and just break out crying. Just crying. She wanted me to be there to try to comfort her as best I could, but it was nothing we could do.
How you handle those situations? Your wife called you crying. You're a caring husband. Before you had the words or you had the language or you realized it hey, man, she's actually beginning to go through menopause. Your wife called you 2 or 3 times in a week, or, this seemed to be a recurring thing. Do you get agitated by it, or you just...
Oh, no.
How you handle that?
No, that's my buddy, man. I got to be there for her. I'm dropping whatever I'm doing.
Okay. Because
I can't... Okay, so now the reason I could say that is because I pivot. I was able to pivot in my life from one hero to the next.
Okay.
Everybody's hero is their dad or their mom. She's my hero in my adult phase because she was able to push me and propel me into something more than my parents could.
Okay.
Just like anybody parent, right now, I could almost guarantee if you call your parent, oh, they got a good job, you got a job, you work every day, you got a great job. But they ain't gonna say when the next time you can get a raise or a promotion. Is there another job you could do better? She was able to do that for me. Okay. And I heard her.
Okay.
And in my mind, she did it for a stranger. Because she met me and was like, she got on the journey with me and like, hey, you got to get to the next chapter. Because it's going to be better for you and us. Your parents just say, oh, you got a job.
Yeah.
Good. And that's all they want for their child.
Yeah, no, that's real.
So now I do everything in my power to return the favor. Because like you shouldn't be crying like unless it's tears of joy. But if you struggling with something internal, I got to be there for you. Because if you're struggling, it's, it could be thoughts of suicide.
Yeah.
You might want to hurt yourself. You got too much to live for. And crying takes a lot of energy out of you. Hey, let's go get something to eat. Let's go outside. Let's go do something. Let's try to cheer you up as best we can with what you're dealing with. So, and then everything, if something was to happen, it was just heightened.
What did those changes and what you experienced and what you saw in her, when you saw her crying, when you saw like her become more emotional, or was there anything more than just the emotional side of it that you've seen? Because I think sometimes we tend to boil women down to, oh, they just emotional creatures. You know what I'm saying? And we sweep everything in this broad blanket statement that like, okay, if something, oh man, they always emotional. So I think it would be easy for a lot of men to just interpret what's going on as, oh, this her just being a woman, man, which this is a part of, the woman journey. However,
it's not being in tune.
Okay.
Like you got to be in tune. Like the man that want to go out every day without his wife, the guy that wants to go play with his friends without his wife, he ain't in tune with her, so he probably wouldn't pay attention to it. But I can tell this is different. Like it shifted from just a regular, oh, I'm feeling down, my cycle come, back up. This one shifted where it was like, we knew 2 to 3 days, it was she got an internal struggle.
Okay.
She had to make a major decision one time during her struggle.
Okay.
And she didn't even reason. She was like, I'm done. She cut ties with her folks. And then she looked back on it like, man, I should have been a little more patient. But she couldn't grasp it.
Yeah.
Because it was just her body, her hormones was taking over.
So that's part of, what I've heard. I've had the opportunity to speak with a few different women, my wife included, that are dealing with and going through perimenopause. And those are some of the things that they say, hey man, I don't feel like myself. I can't really grasp or explain what's going on. And even, something that you said earlier, you just being in tune with her, you being in proper alignment with her, you were able to recognize something, you know what I'm saying, that a lot of other men might overlook.
Yeah.
What would you say to the man that's listening and he might not be in tune, but he needs to? Is there something that helped you to get more in tune with your wife? Is there something that, some advice that you might be able to share just from your experience that, helps you to recognize those type of things? Is that a want to, or is that, is that something that can be taught?
You got to want it. You got to be in love.
Okay.
You got to be in love, man. Because it's like if your kids walk around sick, hey, what's wrong? You going to be all over top of them. That woman is your little girl. So you got to be all over top of her. You might get cussed out for being overbearing or whatever, but you got to figure it out. As a man, we got to figure it out. So now you don't want to figure it out when it's time to, but over here, it's easy to figure some garbage out, but you got to figure this out. You have to. So it was just and conversations, being her safe space. Because, the Bible say when you wed, it's just you two. You have to be her safe space to where she could come to you open and honestly and say, hey, this is what's going on. Because she would tell me, when I'm on a cycle, I hate you sometimes. I don't take it personal because I don't know what a cycle feel like.
Yeah.
But if you can say it, I got to know it's a thing. Like, so I know some guys, like, we be with couples, and the wife would be like, yeah, he just don't understand. And he just sitting there looking clueless, like, brother, you need to figure it out.
So is that one of those things where you pull that guy to the side
No, man,
and
I
you
ain't
chop
wasting
it up
no
to
time.
him, or you gonna say something to him to try to help him, or you just kind of like, hey man, you recognize it and say, man, dang, you saying to yourself, but he ain't got a clue. He got to figure it out. Or is it something that this person or people, when you come across individuals, because part of this conversation here today is, one, to share the experience that you had, right? It's my firm belief that we encourage and we overcome when we share our stories, when we share, our testimonies and the things that we've gone through, right? You know what I'm saying? And so there's somebody that's going to listen to this. There's somebody who's going to see this. Somebody's going to watch this, and they may feel like, dang, man, yeah, you know what? He talking about me, man. I really don't, pay attention enough. I'm not attuned enough. I'm not, caring enough. Again, what's something that you would say? You said you have to be that safe space.
Yeah.
And I understand when I think safe space. My wife, we were having a conversation a few days ago, and she was just grateful because she said, hey man, I feel like, maybe I overshare with you. I never know, if I'm sharing too much, if I'm sharing, not enough or what, but she was like, man, I'm grateful that I can come and I can just tell you this, or I can tell you that.
That's good.
And I can get it out. You know what I mean? And so when you say that, that's what it sounds like to me. But what do you mean when you say safe space?
Well, that's good that she says that, because that means she's your friend. Like, she knows, like, this is my dog. Josh, my dog. And she can share that. Like, people don't understand that, man. People, a lot of time, like younger women, like my daughter, for instance, her mother may be her safe space. She hadn't met the guy that she can journey on and have him as her safe space. So for the gentleman that doesn't want to, you could just tell, man, who wants to have a better relationship. The same guy that's there, the same couple, he said, I don't know how to be romantic. You shouldn't be married.
But he is.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why they are. That's another story. But, checking off boxes, because you're going to do what you want to do. Just like, for me, I say if you a barber, there's certain clippers on the market that you like. You're going to do your research. Why not do the research on your wife?
Okay. That's fair. That's very fair.
You can't tell me you're a car guy and don't know what's going on with your wife.
Yeah. That's fair.
She's number one priority, because she's going to get you your next car. Whether you know it or not, your wife is going to get you your next car, because she's going to say, no, you don't need that. She's going to go ahead, huh? Am I lying?
Man, I'm laughing because my wife is definitely part of the reason I'm driving the vehicle that I'm driving, man.
So it's
Definitely.
But see, you got the man that feels like, see, manly man, they think, oh, you got to be macho, or you got to rule with an iron fist, and whatever I say in the house is I'm king. Like, bruh, don't none of that stuff matter when it's just y'all two. When it's just y'all two, she's gonna say yay or nay, because ultimately you stay married because y'all enjoy each other. If she stop enjoying you either gonna figure out why, or you gonna flee.
So was there ever a time where you looked at, before you knew, hey man, it's something going on hormonally, was there a time that you looked at things like, okay, dang man, she says she hate me, you said you didn't take it personally, but for a lot of men, if your wife say that, you know what I'm saying, if she was to say that, or if she was just she's in a mood where she's not thinking, you know what I'm saying, and processing things as clearly as she would when her hormones and her cycle and everything is kind of a little bit more balanced. What would you say to that?
Well, she prefaced it by saying, when it's that time, I look at you and just despise you. But once it's all over, I'm back in love with you. So it's just like, man, it's a chuckle. But that lets me know as a man, like, that's a real thing. Because we don't have our women conversations. I'm sure they have conversations about, girl, this thing tearing me up inside.
So it's funny that you say that, right? Because I was speaking with my wife over the weekend, and we were actually talking about, this episode and us having this conversation. And what she was sharing is that oftentimes women don't share. She said in her friend group, they have just gotten to a place where they are comfortable enough to start saying, hey, man, look, this is what's going on with me. And something else that I heard that I was really surprised by, but not necessarily shocked, is that the older generations, like you mentioned your father, you know what I'm saying, the moms, the grandmas, a lot of women in our generation are saying that they were not prepared for this.
Correct.
They didn't know, they hadn't heard. And so it's almost like, hey, man, you figure this out. I went through it. You figure it out. You'll get through it. And again, when you start looking at the impact that this has on a relationship, like a relationship isn't just, me and my wife, and that's it. It's like stuff that happens to you is going to impact your wife, and vice versa. Things that happen to her are going to have a ripple effect on you. And so not necessarily knowing or understanding, definitely can have an impact on your relationship, man.
So going back to what you said about the older generation not sharing, it's because the man ruled with an iron fist.
Okay.
So they're not going outside and talking, sitting girl time. They got a job to do in the house. Or they're, hey, what you talking to her about that for? So it's the men making up for being ignorant. Because not till, my wife, we have a bunch of different kind of friend groups, our age, older. And, I was like, I know she was like, why don't you talk to XYZ? And then once she talked to her, it was like, oh yeah, girl, this is pellets. That's what the thing is. So not until she spoke to one of our older friends, she got the information, and that was life-changing.
Okay.
But now my wife knows, like, let me start to share my story with my daughter, with my cousins, with anybody that'll listen.
Okay.
Because now, but she, she did mention that one of her girlfriends had mentioned it before. But she just was like, all right, cool, take it too serious. But now I'm like, what, talk to them. It's an older group, women that's doing well for themselves, and she took heed to it. And we shopped around and found an opportunity to try this pellets, and that was, man, this is life changing.
You said it's life changing.
Like a miracle drug.
I'm glad that you took the time to encourage your wife to go share. And I'm glad that your wife is actually sharing with other people around her.
Yeah.
Like I said, this whole podcast platform is based off of people sharing their stories, because I truly believe that there's power in us sharing our stories. And sometimes we may not even realize it. You know what I'm saying? We're just thinking like, oh man, this happened to me, or I'm dealing with this, or I'm going through that, or I've overcame this, or I've overcome that, I've come through this. And we don't realize that there is a reason. There's power behind us going through and dealing with things, man. And so you being able to share a story, or your wife being able to share a story, or anyone else for that matter, helps others understand that they're not by themselves.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, after talking with my wife, man, there were times where she felt like isolated, man. Like, dang, man, am I going crazy? Is this, what's happening to me right now? Because I don't have the words to clearly express or explain what's going on. And that's where I think, the comment you made earlier with regard to having grace, I think that's where it shows up. But if you're a man and you're ignorant to this, if you don't know, if you're not aware, and you're the typical male who treats everything that happens to women as, oh man, they're just emotional.
Yeah.
You chalking everything up.
Yeah.
So if, man, she's spazzing out on you, you know what I'm saying? She being short with you, she got some slick stuff that she's saying to you, she ain't giving you no rhythm. You know what I'm saying? You ain't, just a lot of stuff is drying up. As a man that doesn't really or isn't attuned to what's going on with women in general, like, what advice would you give that man? Like, hold on, man. He loves his wife, or he loves a significant other, whoever he's with. He loves that person. However, you know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of what we get in society pushes us towards, hey man, rule this way, operate this way. You know what I'm saying? Handle a relationship with a woman this way. And so I think some of it is societal norms or cultural norms that kind of push us in a way. And so I would say that the way you function, the way that I function is probably, it ain't even probably, it's counter what status quo is for a lot of people. And not that some of these men are incapable of caring for their wives, but I think it goes against the grain a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen all type of relationships. I've seen the guy that's got the abundance of money, but he's insecure like crazy. Mm-hmm. But the money comes control. Mm-hmm. I got all this money. You gonna do what I say. So that anything she got going on is thrown in the garbage. Oh, I feel sad. All right, here goes some money. Shut up and be quiet, or you ain't gonna go nowhere. Then you got the guy that's abusive. Mm-hmm. He gonna beat you to silence. He gonna beat you quiet. And then you got the guys that, like you said, just ignorant or don't want to learn, that don't care to see another side just because they got somebody to beat down on. Like, a woman can't beat you up. Mm-hmm. So you just can treat them, that's the one person you could treat like that.
Yeah.
Or, and then you got the guys that are just so immature that they don't take the time to even learn themselves. Mm-hmm. You see guys that's just, they get into a relationship and they're not ready to settle down because they're chasing the next best thing. Mm-hmm. They'll never be satisfied until they say, hey, this is what they check the boxes off. Mm-hmm. For me, that was a big thing. Like, I got to check off all my boxes. And if you can't check off your boxes, then you constantly going to be chasing something. Experience is going to have you changing how you think every day. Because you got to think, you sit on social media all day, and your algorithm all of a sudden is half-naked women. Mm-hmm. And then your other algorithm is guys with jewelry and cars. And then it's going to come together at some point. So this jewelry and cars and get these half-naked women. I ain't got to put no effort into figuring, I just got to get my jewelry and car so I get the half-naked women. Mm-hmm. And then you get the half-naked women. Then the half-naked women want the man with the bigger jewelry and cars. So it's a cycle, man. Until you're able to sit down and get in tune with somebody, you screwed. Mm-hmm. But you gotta enjoy your partner, man. I got all kind of friends, man. I really don't care to have friends that aren't dads and husbands. Mm-hmm. Because if you're a father, you got something to stand for. Like, you got to be a good example for your children. But that still can go away because that baby might have been an oops.
Okay. So let me ask this, okay? With your friends that are fathers and husbands, with those individuals, do y'all have conversations like this? Do you share and do you, are they, because I'm assuming you want to be around like-minded people.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so you being around other people, are y'all having these kind of conversations just to, I guess, even have accountability within your friend group? Or is it just kind of like, hey, man, we get together, we hang out? Because I see that's typical with a lot of men. We can get together and have some fun. We can go, watch a game. We can go travel. We can go get something to eat. We can do a lot of stuff. But when it comes to something that's actually meaningful, something that's actually going to produce a result or have an impact that's going to, change things in a positive way, sometimes we avoid that.
Yeah, they some of the guys definitely avoid it because they're not happy at home. Because they still chasing, like they chasing the new world. Like I said, some people like, okay, let's just use the man weave.
Okay.
So if I walked in the house with a man weave, just off the whim, no, if I came in here and asked, hey Josh, man, I need a man weave, you're gonna ask me, why you want that?
Yeah.
It's either gonna be one or two reasons. My wife told me to get it, or the streets is begging for it. Confidence might play a role in it, but I feel like whatever your wife is content with, you're gonna be okay with.
That's true.
So now if the streets is asking for the man weave, I don't want to hang out with this dude because he's gonna be looking for the attention that new hair is gonna get him. And that's not going to be good for me because now I'm investing time where I could be invested with my family in the streets with you looking like a fool. You can't invest. Like, time is so valuable, and I'd rather invest it at home or with my family or my wife instead of playing with you. You out here playing with these people that don't care about you. That's difficult. But like I said, it's nothing against it, but you got to really look at where it's coming from.
Okay.
Just like I had to learn, like women, they get breast augmentation. They lose muscle under their breast, and they don't say that. You just say, oh, you getting your breast done. No, it's more to it than just getting, like, they lose their muscles so they can't stand up anymore and that's confidence for them. It's not for anybody else. So being ignorant to that, you're going to argue the fact, why you want to get your breast done? That's different than saying, oh, I'm going to go get a BBL.
Is it?
I think so. Because a BBL is, if you've been married for XYZ and I love the way you are, but, you have children, certain things change on women.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm not just shunning it.
I'm not saying do you mind it. I'm not asking if, like, hey, man, are you okay with it? Do you think it's the same? Like, you saying I love you regardless.
Yeah, I prefer you how you are.
Okay.
Because there's no reason you should jeopardize your health for somebody else to say you look nice. I'm gonna tell you look beautiful every day. I wouldn't have got married. So what do you want? You want everybody else to tell you look good, or you want me? And that's valuable because if your mate listens to you, like, all right, that's not an investment that I need to make. But that's another story because I call that return on investment. Return on investment. All these women out here, you gotta think about that. All these women out here that got their body done, that's still single. They gotta get that money back some way.
How?
They're gonna use that body. They gotta get that. They have to get that money back.
You hope, but hey, man, that's the thing. I know some women who have had some cosmetic stuff done, and
extreme cases is what I'm talking about, not just
I'm the guy that's always gonna say, unless there is something extreme wrong with you that, hey man, this is going to help you, save you in some type of way. Like, I'm more so on like, hey man, I hope you love yourself, man. I hope you don't feel like you have to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's I'm more of a kind of natural approach in that sense. But kind of reel this back in just a little bit. No, you fine. You said your wife spoke with some slightly older friends.
Yes.
And the slightly older friend mentioned at your recommendation, because you're talking about just how important it is if you have a spouse that listens to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like part of that comes from the alignment. You know what I mean? You listen to her, she listen to you, that sort of type of thing. You found out about something that was life-changing. Is that when you started to kind of do a little bit more research and start learning a little bit more about perimenopause, or like you just looked at the product?
It didn't even take research. It was like we were able to try the first one from our physician. Okay. We didn't care for that. Like at this point, we're going to try anything.
Oh, okay. So you just looking for
a solution,
some relief.
Yes. So we definitely decided to. We heard that it was one of those things that we could just get.
Okay.
So I told her, let's try it. So she had heard it from her friend.
Now, was this something you can get over the counter, or was it something?
Yeah, it's not. So
okay,
so
it had to come from prescription.
Yes. So that's when she started to do her homework, and when one of her younger friends said, "Hey, I'll do this," but she didn't really, like I say, she didn't pay it any mind. Mm-hmm. And once this other lady said, "Hey, we're gonna try it," she was like, "I'm gonna go with her lady." But we did some research, and a friend that we knew already, a nurse that we knew, she was like, "Yeah, it's a thing." Mm-hmm. So I'm like, "Well, book the appointment." We went to the first appointment, and you got to do blood work, and basically what the pellets are is it adjusts the hormones. It gets your hormones back in line. So they got to do blood work. Men actually can take it, but she has to do blood work, and then they are able to prescribe a dosage based on what you need.
Okay.
And it's like a 3-month. The one she has is 3 months. And they put the pellets under your skin and they dissolve. And it's supposed to balance out your hormones. And like I said, she went and got it. And we watched, we paid attention, cycle came. And she was fine. The first month, she was like, well, she was away. So she was like, I feel good. The next month came. Oh, man. You would have thought that thing was gone. She was so happy. And it was like you could see the joy.
Okay.
Because she didn't have any ill effects.
Okay.
Like just even keel, happy, restful, nothing.
How did that make you feel when you realize, like, hey, man, we found a solution. We found something that it's working, something that is helping her. And, you know, to go back to something you said earlier in the sense that, like, hey, man, you know, shoot, beyond my wife, beyond my friend, like this individual who had this internal battle, who's struggling over here, to see that same individual now happy, now, you know, finding some relief. How did that make you feel? What?
I'm ecstatic. It's so funny. We was having a conversation today because I could care less about. She could be mad. She could snap. She could fight. She doesn't have that internal struggle anymore. Okay. That part is eliminated. Even if she still had some of the, like, you know, sad, but she didn't have the one part that just drug her whole, like every day. Like she doesn't have that anymore. Excuse me. So it's good to have found something that can get her balance, and it's a thing. So we found a solution. Okay. It unfortunately is not FDA approved, so insurance doesn't pay for it. But listen, put me on auto draft because it's helping her.
So let me ask this. I'm curious. If you don't mind sharing, did she tell you or did she describe to you what that internal struggle felt like? Did she give you any insight? Because you say internal struggle.
Like you said, a lot of times they say they can't put it into words.
Okay.
It's just like they're going to a dark place, and she's, she would say, oh, sometimes she felt like she don't want to be here. Sometimes she feel less than.
Yeah.
And it's not coming from me.
Yeah.
It's just inside.
How do you know it's not coming from you? Is that one of those things where you looked at it? Because I feel like when your wife is dealing with something, and this, I feel like this can easily be in a relationship where something's going on with somebody and you tend to look at yourself and be like, dang, man, is this something that I'm doing that's causing this?
I ask.
You know what I'm saying? Okay.
I'm not afraid of those hard questions.
Okay.
Is it me? Is it something that I did? When people say they can't sleep, something's on their mind. What's on your mind? Is you sure? Are you thinking about something? Those are real, it's surface questions, but that's straight to the point. I would want somebody to ask me. You might not answer the first time, but you could show the concern. You could see their concern. Somebody say, you okay? Yeah. You sure? No. And that's just a natural reaction. But I will always check and make sure. But we always knew for the last year, this was something that was going to take her out. And I can almost count. It's 2.5 days. How you feeling? I feel good today. She would say, I feel good. Today's a good day. I didn't cry. And it sucks, man, to see your friend that you building with sad, man. You don't see nobody sad. And just to be able to find a solution, man, is amazing. And like you said, I've talked to other women. Some women like it. Some women say it makes them gain weight. But, I mean, shoot, if she gain weight, I wouldn't care. She's got relief. Like, she got good relief. No ill effects. Like I said, if it costs $1 million, I'm going to try to get $1 million every time. Because it's giving my partner the relief she needs so she can feel normal. Like, you don't want to wake up knowing you're not going to feel normal for 2 to 3 days. That sucks, man.
Yeah, after having a conversation with my wife, I realized that, in terms of just opening and just allowing, just holding space for her to be able to share some of that, because it's one of those things where you say that, you going around and you having an internal struggle and you don't feel like yourself. You don't feel normal, and you're trying to figure out if you are angry or if you're sad or whatever range of emotions that you're going through. You're trying to figure out and rationalize a reason, like, why am I feeling this way? Like, I don't have a reason to, so when I talk with my wife would say that. She was like, I was struggling because, shoot, man, I'm trying to figure out, like, well, why do I feel this way? Like, I truly don't have a reason to feel this way.
Nope.
And so, again, you just don't know enough about it, man. And so, like I said, I think there's a lot of learning that can take place. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to have this conversation. I don't know how much your wife has, gone and tried to study some more stuff or just kind of doing some more research or, talking to your physician and just asking some questions, because I think, I'll just say older generations, I don't think they cared enough to go to the hospital and the doctors and all of that kind of stuff and just say, hey, man, this is what's going on with me. I don't think they...
Well, it's modern medicine, though. You got modern medicine that gets, unfortunately, that's not on the forefront of today's social media is women that having mental issues as far as, that.
So I'm seeing more of it now, is what I'll tell you. I'm seeing more of it now than I've ever seen, right? You know what I'm saying? And to add on top of that, right, is I think it's taboo for women to talk about what's going on with their bodies. I know a lot of guys that don't even know when their wife having no cycle.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If she's got a cycle going on, they don't even want, hey, man, she on the rag, bro. She on this or whatever, all these other little names we got for it. But it's one of those things where they're not having conversations. They don't feel like, this is something that I got to deal with. This is something that's your problem.
Yeah.
This ain't my problem. This is you problem. And so I'm curious, what is it about you, or what was it about the situation that helped you not look at it that way? Because it's easy when you're in a relationship, it's you and your partner, and something's affecting your partner. It's easy to look at it and be like, oh, okay, oh, that's you. You know what I'm saying? You deal with that, you handle that, like, you know what I'm saying?
It's some stuff there that you go ahead and deal with that. But this is, she can't control that, man. And I treat people how I want to be treated. So again, being in tune with her and knowing that my happy place is her.
Okay.
That I can't be around you and you hurting. Like, that sucks. You know, it's one of them things where, like, call me, you can say whatever. You know, people looking for their house. When the guy's looking for their house, oh, where's the man cave? Mm-hmm. That's the first thing you hear. I got to get a man cave. For what? Mm-hmm. When I go home, mm-hmm. I'm escaping the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. So my safe space is my people in my house. Okay. I don't need a man cave. I don't need a basement. I'm where she is. I'm out the house anyway. So it's difficult for me to be like, oh yeah, man, get a man cave. I want to be my old lady. Mm-hmm. So if I get to her and she damaged because something she can't explain, that hurts for me. So now it's, you know, I want to treat her like a baby. Mm-hmm. And we got to figure it out. And if you're going to lay here, I'm going to lay here with you. We're going to watch whatever you want. We're going to eat whatever you want just to make it comfortable. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't push that onto her. She can't carry that load by herself because I look at everything she does for other people. Mm-hmm. And she has to keep that. She got to stay professional at work. She can't call off work because she gonna, you know, they don't get those times.
So how do you maintain your sanity while dealing with this, right? Right? Because, you know, it's obviously too much for her to carry, right, by herself. And you saying, hey, man, I love my wife. I care for my wife. You know, I feel like part of what you're saying is showing up and showing grace in that way. Like, hey, man, like you said, I'm going to lay here on the couch. We're going to watch this and we're going to do what you want to do. I'm here to help make you feel better. How do you not lose yourself in that? Because you still got needs. You still got, you know, different thoughts and different things that may be going on with you. You know, is there ever a time where what's going on with her supersedes what's going on with you? Or is there ever a conflict with that?
No. It's priorities. Like, you know, people always say, oh, I got too much on my plate. Why? You put it there.
Okay.
You filled your plate up. So when I wake up, I try to wake up happy. Mm-hmm. When I walk in that house, I try not to take work home. So it's nothing in my mind that's gotta go to where I'm consumed with her. I'm consumed with my kid because that's where I'm happy.
Okay.
That's happy for me. So now it's nothing that should come into my household other than what's in my house. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to put a burden on her because, you know, if something was wrong with me, you know, we're going to address it. Man, I'm not feeling well. I got to got to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And that's just the same thing with her. We're going to figure this out together. But I don't have nothing mentally to where I'm like, oh, man, I can't deal with this today. That's not fair to her.
It's not fair to her, but, I mean, is it honest that, like, sometimes you might feel that way?
No.
Sometimes you helping your wife, you doing all of this extra stuff, you trying to be as loving and caring, you know what I mean? I don't necessarily look at it as a bad thing. I just look at it as sometimes like, hey, bro, you may not have the bandwidth. How do you manage to keep the bandwidth? How do you manage to keep, that's when I say keep yourself sane or keep the sanity, like, okay, I'm gonna make sure that I show up for my wife, but how do I not neglect myself in that process? Because it can be easy, you know, for somebody that cares for their wife as much as you do to like go all in. And so, you know, how do you know when you get into that place?
Well, I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for her.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be the man that I am today if it wasn't for her. So I strive to be good for her, which in tune would trickle down for the kids. It's my job as the man in the house is to show my daughter and son how they're supposed to be treated. You know, my daughter's supposed to see this is how a man's supposed to treat you. Son, this is what you're supposed to do for a woman. This is how you're supposed to move. But other than that, man, I don't consume myself with the rest of the world. Okay. So I come outside, look around, and I try to be jovial in a mature way to where I'm not consumed. I took a break from social media. Okay. I'm still off.
Okay.
But I don't consume myself with nothing. Because I don't put nothing on my plate that's relevant.
Okay. So it sounds like you've removed some distractions. You've taken some things off your plate, and that's freed up space for you to make room for any extra stuff that, your wife may be dealing with. Because here's the reality. As much as I've had conversations with you, and even I think about myself, it's not that you don't have any issues or you're never going to have any problems. Like,
right.
My thought process is like, okay, in those days we're like, damn, man, Marc is struggling. You know what I'm saying? Marc, you dealing with whatever you dealing with, and she dealing with something at the same time. Like, how do you show up for her and show up for yourself? Is that possible, or
it is? It is
you
because
always prioritize your wife over yourself.
I feel like now that's where the man comes in, because you can prioritize someone over yourself, but then you definitely have to revisit if there's an issue. Okay. Because I look at situations, something might bother me, and I might talk it out right then and there, because I know I got to clear this space to not deal with, but to help my significant other. Because it's just us. I don't have I'm not running to my parents to cry. She shouldn't run to her parents to cry. Let's cry on each other. So I have to be able to clear my mind and make sure that I have the bandwidth to help her. Because like I said, we know it's coming twice a month.
Yeah.
It's almost like allotted time. Yeah. We know it's coming. So you kind of prepared for it anyway. Okay. But me personally, I try not to, I feel like if you don't have a solution for something, it's out of your control. I don't try to control people I can't control it, it ain't for me. Okay. I just let it roll off. I may talk about it, but I don't let it linger. Because that's just taking up space. That's taking away from Chase, Chandler, BJ. It's taken away from them. Okay. Because I owe it to them to show them how it's a good way to live. Like creating debt. So let's say creating debt. That's something that's on your mind. Like, dang, I got to pay this bill. Why do you have to pay that bill? Because you wanted something that caused this debt. Okay. Not as a financial burden that's on your plate. Instead of saying, all right, let me grow up, manage my finances, so it's okay. That's one thing that's off your plate. Now, whether it's me and her have an issue, that's something that needs to be resolved. Okay. So now if we were talking about that, let's say, hey, we get home and we dealing with something, and then this hits, it's going to be like, man, this is tough. It's going to be a harder fight. But that's when you lean on faith, because you know he's going to come through and y'all need to talk about it. But we hadn't had any of those run-ins at the same time. Okay. But we try not, I don't like arguing. We try not to argue. We try not to have any disagreements. We try. Nobody's perfect.
Right.
But I'm not consumed with day-to-day stuff, man. I try not to be. You go to work, you go to work. You work. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's work.
Yeah.
I'm off. I'm fortunate and I'm blessed enough to say, when I turn them keys off, I'm off. I don't have to take work into the house. We blessed enough to where it's no financial strain. till we got to worry about something. If kids mess up, whoop them. And that's where discipline. You know what I'm saying? If your child mess up, you're not supposed to harp on it. You discipline the child accordingly, and then it's a new day. How many times your mama done beat you down and you back crying and laughing and they laugh?
Yeah.
So that just come with the territory. You gonna get beat down, whooping. You gonna get, but you know you gonna learn from your mistakes, and that's not gonna say, oh, he punched the little boy, he gonna be in trouble. He gonna be. I'm not gonna do that. Like this stuff gonna roll off. But you should be able to, as a man, to let certain things roll off your back. Like I say, if it's out of your control, it's just out of your control. Ain't no sense in harping on it. A lot of people, that comes with maturity though, because a lot of people don't know how to process like that.
Okay. So I'm curious. You say we are, as a man, there are going to be times where you need to let things roll off your back. And you can't harp on stuff. And it sounds like that's a life philosophy that you have. There's not a whole lot of stuff that you're going to let distract you from what's actually important. And for you, you said, hey man, my family, my wife, my kids, you know what I mean? My home, that's you know, the priority to me. And so you're not bringing work home. You're not, you know, bringing all of this other stuff into the house. You're not filling your plate with all of this excess junk so that it doesn't overwhelm you. For the man that hasn't matured to that place, for the man that's still operating and things are getting to them, and you know they got this going on or they got that going on, and so they haven't been able to lean in with their wife as they're going through this perimenopausal stage or phase. What do you think most men misunderstand about what their wives are experiencing during this phase or during this?
They think they can control it.
Okay.
I had a partner said, "Oh man, she know what she doing."
What did you think he meant when he said that?
She know that she's going through this and she just acting and can turn it off and turn it on.
Okay.
I'm like, dude, they can't. It's certain things men have and certain things women have.
Yeah.
When they say they can't control it, they can't control it. So it's like you can't assume that she can control that.
How did that conversation go, man? I mean, did he listen? Do you think he walked away, or did y'all have?
Well, his phone stays cut off, so I don't put too much faith in this brother.
Okay.
Brother, if your phone is off and you grown, I mean, our conversation is surface, but I can give you as much wisdom as I can. You know, because he was just saying he was going through it with his girl. I'm like, no, they can't control that. Yeah, they can. All right, well.
So what would you say, you know, if one of your friends, one of your guys is a father, is a husband in your friend group, and y'all are having a conversation, he came to you and he say, hey man, Mark, you know, I look at you, I see the way that you carry yourself, the way you interact. Hey man, I'm having a hard time. I'm struggling right now because I feel like, hey man, she can control this, she can do this. What words would you have for him? How would you share it with him? He's open. He wants to hear it. Like, what would you
So the information I have now as far as the pellets, I would definitely recommend that.
Okay.
That's first. You know, everybody might want to try it. Everybody can't afford it.
Okay.
Might not be able to afford it. But it's patience, man. Patience is key, because a lot of times when you're not patient or know how to navigate without somebody giving, like, you have to problem solve. It's all problem solving, man. You got to be able to see the problem, if it is that big of a problem, adjust, and then come up with a solution together after the fact, hey, have a sit down, effective communication. Sweetheart, man, you taking me down through there when you get on your cycle. What can we do? And listen to her. Because you gonna tell if something wrong with you, you gonna tell her.
Shoot, a lot of men don't. So here's the flip side, the other end of this spectrum. We're talking about going through perimenopause with women, right? And walking beside your wife and how to be supportive, how to navigate this. You know what I mean? And I think the experience is going to be a little different for each individual, each couple, because each couple has a different dynamic. But the other end of this spectrum, we're talking about females, we're talking about women. The other end of this spectrum is men.
Yeah.
And men have their own issues, man, right? You said men can take these pellets as well, right? And so it's one of those things where that at least suggests, and if you listen to any kind of sports talk radio or anything on the radio, they talking about erectile dysfunction. They talking about low T. They talking about all of this. And so men go through hormonal changes too.
Yeah.
And so in the same way, I know men that would not, you know what I'm saying? They would not show up and talk with their wife. And so, it's a situation where, shoot, man, your wife looking at you very suggestingly. You know what I'm saying? She rubbing your leg, you know what I'm saying? She giving you all the little cues like, hey, man, let's get this thing popping. And you looking at yourself, you looking down at yourself and, hey, man, that like, hey, man, something's not going right now.
Yeah.
That most men don't even want to have that conversation with their wife.
No, and it could be embarrassing.
Yeah, it's a level of shame.
Yeah, I've talked to some guys. Like I go to the gym, and I hear the TRT talk, testosterone.
Yeah,
it's like I never heard. We don't hear our older generation talk about it.
No,
but I still see them being spry. So it's like, hopefully, I pray that wave doesn't hit me.
So here's what I'll say to you. What I've heard older men say is this, right? And I got one distinct memory that pops out of my head. And I didn't understand it in the moment, but I understand it better now as I've started to, I'm curious. So I'm always researching something. I'm always trying to just better understand stuff. And that's, what I feel like part of this conversation is. It's just, hopefully this helps, another man or woman, listening, have a conversation with their spouse, with their partner that helps them understand what you may be going through. Because sometimes we don't share with other people. Sometimes they may be willing, but we may not want to have the conversation, to help somebody understand what we're going through. That being said, one of the older gentlemen at the church made a comment, and he made a comment like just passingly. And he was like, man, I done turned into a big old baby, man. Man, it seemed like, man, I'm crying all the time now, man. Man, I never used to cry. I never used to, I don't know what's going on with me now.
It's testosterone, though.
It's testosterone. And so think about the older generation of guys that you start seeing that seem like they now have feeling that when you were a kid or you were adolescent or something to that effect, you were a young man and you saw this older man, he seemed like he was the hardest dude in the world. And you like, man, can't nothing penetrate, bro. Like you ain't got no emotions.
Yeah.
Because we come from generations of people who because of life circumstances, they weren't even able to share emotion like that, right? You know what I'm saying? And so we might tend to look at ourselves as a little bit more evolved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As men now, you know what I'm saying? And so it becomes one of those things where, they might not have even recognized that stuff was happening, or they did. And that's part of the reason, you know what I'm saying? Your hormones have shifted and now you feeling more stuff, and stuff that, you normally would have looked at and not cared about is making you cry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But, like you said, to them, we may be a softer generation, but I feel like the guys now, because of social media, are in competition with the younger guys, whereas that wasn't a thing before.
Right.
Because I got a gentleman that, didn't pay attention to too many things, but now because of social media, his eyes is looking and he want to figure out what new stuff. Like it's new to him, which is old to me. And it was like, just relax. So that generation of men probably won't be, it's like men won't be forefront of issues or what's going on or, oh man, I did this. And, like I was watching a YouTuber and this go back to the ED. He had ED. So he's got the prosthetic.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he talks openly on that. And I'm like, my wife saw me watching it and she's like, you watching something crazy. But I'm like, for this man to pour his heart out and explain his experience is dope. But then she said, you like that because you're an open book. Like I try to be open and honest, and for him to share his experience with that is amazing because a lot of people don't know. If you have ED, they have a prosthetic. So it's one of those things, man, where you just gotta equip yourself with as much knowledge as you can. That's key, man. Don't stop growing. Don't stop learning. That's key because then you're able to equip yourself. Whether we talk to somebody or not, we can do our homework. We can do our due diligence. We can say, hey, I think this is going on. Let me try to find a solution. That's what I say. Guy's job is to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. You need to try to figure it out with or without help. And then that way, the satisfaction of being able to solve an issue is that much, that much more rewarding because it's like, I was able to fix this. So, and I think that's the state we're in with getting her some resolve, man. She's ecstatic, man.
Is there anything, and I'm happy that your wife is ecstatic and that, she's gotten some relief.
Yeah.
Because there are millions of women out here that if they have not gone through it, they're going to go through it.
Yeah.
And perimenopause can last. It can start, I think I read as early as like mid-30s, man, and go all the way up, you know what I'm saying, to close to the 50s, man, you know what I'm saying? And so that's a long period of time that you got all of this stuff going on internally. You having these challenges. You could still have a child while you're going through perimenopause because you're still having a cycle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so there's so many different things that compound this. I'm curious if there's anything that kept you from being reactive and made you more curious during this time, because I feel like it's your curiosity that said, hey man, I'm trying to find a solution. I'm trying to see what's going on. Like, how you doing? How you feeling?
When you say reactive, what do you mean?
Like most men will see something going on and they just gonna react to it. Like she in the mood, you know what I'm saying? And so because she's in the mood, like my reaction to that, like, hey, I may turn the other way, right? And so instead of leaning in, I tend to lean back. I tend to lean away. And so if you're one of those individuals that like, oh, you're reacting to how she's, oh, okay, oh, shoot, man, this one of them few days, oh, okay, I'm trying to go hang out with my boy. Hey, bro, what you up to? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get out of the house, man. She got this going on.
That's so funny because I tell people, like I say, treat people how you want to be treated, regardless of how. This is how I want to be treated, so I'm gonna treat you that way. But if you react in that manner, that's not good because you're reacting to something that's not there. So you all in love with your wife, and then the one time she decides to not, if mentally she's not there, and then you check out tit for tat, that's not fair. That's not fair. And that goes back to bringing stuff into your household. Because say, for instance, you go on vacation and your wife talks to her cousin, which ain't got nothing to do with her, but then now your vacation is ruined. She brought something into y'all world that ain't got nothing to do with y'all. That's not fair. So that has to be checked at the door. So you got to understand your partner and the love language, because that's love language at the end of the day. Okay. Because you have to be there. You got to be there. You got to show up. you showing up we're at different ages is different things we need to show up to. As kids, we got to be at school. We got to be at sporting events. We got to be at plays. As adults, we got to be at certain doctor visits. We got to be at certain meetings. We got to be at certain business tables. We got to be there for our spouse.
I think that's fair. Now, I want to ask a couple more questions. Like you said, at different stages of life, you realize like you have to be there. You got to show up. And part of being a husband is being able to show up for your wife. How has this experience and going through, this perimenopausal stage with your wife, how has it changed, or has it changed or improved the way you listen and support your wife? Has it?
It's a victory.
Okay.
It's a victory because we overcame something that we saw no hope. Like, man, we got to deal with this. But I reassure her that I'm supporting you and getting a solution. Not that, hey, I'm so happy that you ain't got to go through that. We good. I'm happy that you happy. We going to keep doing it. No, I want it for her. The victory is for her.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because she'll say it, man. I've been so happy and giddy. Yeah, but now it's like, I want her to know I didn't fall in love with the Pellet girl.
Yeah.
And some people may think that, oh, you loving me different because now I got these pellets. No. I'm happy we got a victory. We found something that our doctor didn't direct us in. We found another physician that was able to help us. This is a victory. This is something big for us. Because like I say, man, this was not being prepped for. Like you said, the older generation not prepping you. Say, girl, once this come, all you hear, menopause.
Yeah, hot flash.
Yeah, that's what you hear.
Hot and cold. That's about it. But it's so much deeper than that.
Yes.
Perimenopause, in terms of what my wife was saying, is different from menopause. You know what I'm saying? And so they're different stages. And so you understand, and you thinking like, oh, it's all grouped the same. And so again, I don't even know if the older generation
recognized it.
Yeah, if they understood what was going on to them. And so that's a completely different conversation. But you said something that just makes me think and wonder. You said like you guys found a solution. You count it as a victory because at one point you said for us it felt like it could be hopeless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when you think about being in a hopeless situation and you find, and you said us, you didn't say you know what I mean? So that's, that's big. That's important. You know what I'm saying? That you looked at this like this is something that's affecting us. And I would say you responded accordingly. And has your wife, has she expressed how that made her feel?
Yeah, all the time. Because she said you don't give up on her. Because like I say, I could be like, oh, I ain't got to deal with this. That's easy, but that's not fair. Not when you know somebody's background and what they've been through and the struggles. It's no, man, that's not fair. Again, that's one thing to have on your plate. Do I want that on my plate? No, I don't need that on my plate, and neither does she. She don't need to know, all right, if I'm tripping, this man might have an issue with me. I'm not gonna say leave because that ain't on the table, but it's like I'm not gonna have an issue with you.
It's not on the table for you, but there's some men
absolutely
that are thinking like, okay, well, dang, man, she always tripping, and that's why I said I wanted to have this conversation because there, we look at tripping as times and as a man, and again, like I said, we generalize and stuff, but it's one of those things where you looking at like, man, she's always tripping. You know what I'm saying? She been tripping like, man, I don't know what happened, man. Just one day she just started tripping, man. Yeah. And she just been tripping ever since, man. And it's been 5 years, it's been 6 years, and you have no explanation for it. Hopefully somebody will walk away from hearing this conversation, listening to this conversation and say, hey, man, maybe we need to do a little bit more exploration. right?
Yeah.
You know, because I can easily see. Let me ask you this. Based off of what your wife was experiencing, you seem to be a very caring, very loving husband. When your wife was going through it and she was at her worst, and you saw her at her lowest dealing with this, and she's battling this, could you see how another man could be like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this. I'm nah.
Oh yeah, they
You
weak. They weak. They super weak.
Are they weak or are they just ignorant?
No,
And
they
not
both. And I said weak and ignorant. Because again, the same energy that somebody applies to something that's insignificant, how many times, well, I don't know, you heard somebody say, I'm gonna buy this pair of shoes because when I was young, I had them. Mm-hmm. I had these shoes when I was a kid, I'm gonna get them again. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna put enough effort into getting that shoe from a childhood. So that means you're willing to take the time out, figure out when they come out, man, tell everybody you had them when you was little, but you have a whole human being that's having an issue and you're not gonna do no research on. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's crazy to me. Oh man, they got the new Tesla coming out. The new Tesla got this. But your old lady, a human, help her figure this out. You just give up. Mm-hmm. Everything's got a solution. Or you can make it comfortable. Okay. You can make life easy. Like you could put in that effort. Just put in the work, man. It's just work. It's work. And listen, I'm gonna be right there with her every time. Cause it ain't fair to her. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the dude is weak, man. Man is weak. Man is so weak, dog. Listen, like, dude, you weak, man. You weak. You sorry.
So, how do you? Cause I just look at it and I take it for what it is. You know what I mean? It ain't for me to call you weak. It ain't for me to whatever. You know what I'm saying? I just look at it and say, hey, man, how does this person deal with that? How can they grow from that state to the next, right? We've all had different things or been exposed to different things that, have helped in our maturation and evolution process. And so, maybe the person wasn't exposed to the same stuff you were exposed to. I told you, man, I think you have a very unique way of looking at things. I think you got a different approach than a lot of people do. I think I would say I agree that we do waste a lot of time, effort, and energy on insignificant things, and the things that actually matter, the things that are actually, most important to us, we tend to neglect. We tend to, push to the side and not spend or give the necessary energy to. And so it's definitely one of those things where I would say that I agree with you. My thought process is like, okay, well, shoot, if you come across one of those guys, all right, I can call you weak, or if I had some advice that I could give you that might, plant a seed that might make you think differently, what's going to be more effective? What's going to be more helpful? Me calling you weak ain't going to do nothing.
But if I call them weak, they're going to put more effort in being mad at me.
Oh, absolutely.
Than trying to come up with a solution for the woman that's suffering.
They might. You know
That's what I'm saying.
And that's why I say I completely get it. And I don't think that, what you're saying is crazy. However, I just look at it like, okay, man, for me, I'm like, okay, all right, I can recognize where somebody is. I can see where a person is and just say, okay, hey, man, have you considered this? Have you considered that? Because when you say it and explain it the way that you did, it's one of those things where they might understand it in that way. Now that you understanding something, everybody, you grew up same time I did, the phrase knowledge is power was a huge phrase. And it sound good until you listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge is power only when you apply it.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? That's the full phrase. That's what it needs to be saying, right? You just having knowledge of something and not, putting it in application or putting it in action is meaningless. And so again, you know, you saying something to somebody and explaining it to them in the way that you did, when you ask another person that, you might provoke them to like, hey, grow. The reason I say, hey, man, it ain't for me to beat you down and be like, oh, man, you know, man, you weak, man, you this, you this, you that.
Now the weak will come in after.
The only reason I say that is this. This is the only reason I say that. Because what it makes me think about is this, and this is a completely different conversation. We don't have to go here, but what it makes me think about in this moment is the younger generation who gets talked about like a dog by the older generation, and the younger generation of men tend to just like turn that off. Mm-hmm. They turn it off and they stop listening to you. Mm-hmm. And you may have some knowledge, you may have some wisdom and life experience that could be extremely valuable to this person, but because you spent however much time, you know, berating them, mm-hmm. you know what I'm saying? They looking at it like, man, I'm not trying to hear nothing you saying. Right. And what you saying could actually be life-saving to them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now, is that their fault that they're not listening, or is that partially on you too because of the approach? So my thing is, like, I want everybody to grow, bro. Now, I'm gonna throw the seed, you know, I'm gonna give the thing to you. Now, if you bite, you bite. You know what I'm saying? If you don't, I'm gonna keep it moving. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But you can't never use the excuse, well, did nobody say this to me? Correct. Nobody tell me this, and nobody, because some of us, again, I think the system that we live in, the society that we function in, I think it's a lot of that trains us to behave in a certain way. And a lot of people have not been able to break free and think for themselves. And so, you know, to get to a point where, you know, you got somebody that might be just a little bit further down the road and they can, like, you know, drop some wisdom on you. I think that's always.
No, I agree with powerful. That. So I look at it, when I say weak, it's more so you're not giving the same effort into, like, now somebody say, hey man, I need some help. Yeah. Yeah, let's try to apply it. Yeah. So somebody say, man, I got this going on. Here, let me give you some information. Nah, man, I'm straight. Like I'm in it. Mm-hmm. And it's not fair for you as a man to dismiss what these women go through monthly. They go through something. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we don't go through nothing. Mm-hmm. Not like that on that spectrum. Mm-hmm. That's whack. Like, give that woman, like, you live for women.
Okay. So let me ask you this. How did you get to that point where you were willing to acknowledge that? Because that's what I want to know, right? Because you make it seem almost as if you came out of the womb and you were just like, okay, you know what? Dang, man. Women got this going on. Women got that going on.
Well, that's just really like why we get haircuts. I ain't getting no haircut for you.
Man, I started first getting haircuts because my mama said go get a haircut.
Who was that? A woman?
She told me to. I didn't know nothing about it. I'm running around looking nappy headed and looking crazy.
A woman. Why we buy cologne?
We do a lot of stuff
for
women.
Yeah. So why not figure out a solution? Like this
is a natural progression.
Everything is for them.
Okay.
Everything is for them. And I mean, you know, if you like the opposite sex, more power to you. But it's for them. Like I said, I feel like my philosophy, being married, is like dating in high school, like I told you. Because in high school, you don't want nobody looking at your girl. You don't want nobody to take your girl. And you want your girl to be attracted to you. So at this age, you got to get your hair cut. You got to stay groomed. You got to date her. You got to always date. Never stop dating. And you want to be that guy she's in love with. Because if your wife go love somebody else, Josh 2.0, you're going to be like, well, wait a minute. Where did I fall short? Mm-hmm. Oh, remember them times I had my cycle. Something small. But if we automatically assume that they can control it, you're just going to sweep it under the rug. But that may be big to them. Yeah. Because I see my wife, she's grateful that I'm supportive. Mm-hmm. She shows me that. Okay. She like, man, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for, because nobody knows. Yeah. My wife's sitting in, you know, she works from home. Yeah. She's sitting in there crying and suffering.
Yeah, she's suffering in silence.
She might not want to put that burden on her daughter or her cousin. She might not want to, but now that she's able to have some reprieve, she's sharing her story to educate. So yeah, man, listen, if you're doing it right, you're doing it for women. Okay. If you're doing it to show off for everybody else, then you ain't nothing never gonna be right for you. It's you put out the wrong energy. Like if I'm showing off for the guys, my life is falling short. My marriage is falling short. So listen, man. That's why I say my wife's my friend. We if I find something, I share it with her, and we do it together. Build a better bond. Like I said, I'm in tune. I could care less without the outside noise. I don't care about that stuff.
Is there some conversation that you wish you guys, would have been privy to?
No, because it's knowledge. Like you said, if you don't have the knowledge and can't apply it, then it's nothing there. So it's nothing that this is something that you prepare for as an adult. A rainy day. This is a rainy day. It just happened to be a long day. So it comes up. Like you're not prepared for this. But this is like, if you really think about it, the older you get, it's different phases. In your 20s, I'm going to say now that I'm in my 40s, you hear different things. Okay. Like you hear people dying. You hear people sick. Yeah. You hear people divorcing in your 40s. In your 20s, you ain't hear nothing about that. All you heard about was who got the next car, what car coming out, or traveling. 30s, you kind of, depending on if you with somebody or you making new friends, you making memories. But 40s, it's like, shoot, man, you heard what you call died? Man, you heard they going through a divorce? You don't hear that stuff in the 20s and 30s. So it's like, should that have been explained to us?
I say yes. And that's part of, again, another reason why I like to have these conversations is because I think that, somebody being prepped for the fact that something is coming, that they're going to have to face or endure something, I think it gives them a better chance of
preparing for it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's no different than, a parent sharing knowledge with their child. You share knowledge with your child, not because you want them to go blindly into life, sure. But hey, man, I want you to have a little bit of knowledge that, like, hey, maybe you can handle this. You know what I'm saying? If you see me about to walk off a cliff, I want you to yell and scream my name. Hey. You know what I'm saying? Try to redirect me. For the men listening who feel confused or disconnected right now, what's one mindset or behavior shift that helped you stay focused and stay connected instead of defensive?
That's a good way to put it, because it's easily to go on the defense. It's super easy to go on the defense. It's easy to attack. It's easy to be combative, but you just have to know it's not geared towards you. And I guess that's based on your relationship, because you got to be able to know, wholeheartedly that it's not geared towards you. And you just got to be open-minded. Got to be open-minded, and you got to stay positive. Even though it's a sad moment, you still got to be positive. You got to be willing to put forth the effort to be supportive. You just got to be supportive. You would want the same reprieve if the shoe was on the other foot, because then you'll feel alone. Like you married to be in a union. Like you would want your spouse in the fight with you. I know I would. So I try to strap my boots up and get there with her, because that's not fair.
Mark, I want to say I appreciate you, man. I have enjoyed this conversation. I think that it's going to be extremely helpful. Are there any parting words or anything, any message, any thoughts that you want to share that you didn't have the opportunity to share before?
for the most part, I pretty much was, we touched on being able to check off boxes, be in tune with your partner, and just be in love, man. Enjoy the moment, live for the moment, put down your phones, make time for each other. Make your home your safe space. Make your home your man cave. Or your, what they call it, she shed. Your whole house needs to be that. The rest of the world needs to be outside of you two. But when you care about what people say and what people think, that's when you lose. You lose every time. When you worried about what other people got going on or what other people might think, I don't care. My wife tell me all the time, you open book. You don't hide nothing. Because I might be able to share. I might be able to give some information. I'm not going to overexert myself and give out personal information, but to me, certain stuff needs to be talked about because, like you say, we never learned it. So, I listen. You be surprised what what people tell you when they like you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then we take some of the stuff we hear and apply it in our marriage. What to do and what not to do, who to be, who not to be. You'd be surprised, man.
No, I mean, trust me, man. Over the years, me just being me, my personality, I've had conversations that people hadn't told anybody, man. Stuff they hadn't told their wife.
Yeah.
Some stuff people hadn't even told their therapist.
Yeah.
And they share it all with me, man. And I think it's an honor, it's a blessing, and that's why I said, I see the power of sharing stories. I see the power of having conversations simply because it's one of those things where it allows people to be seen, it allows people to be heard, and oftentimes it allows people to be understood. And I think we all need that, we all crave that, we all desire that, you know what I'm saying? Especially even more when you're dealing with something. You know what I mean? So to be dealing with something and not, have it recognized or acknowledged or, feel like you're understood, like, dang, man, this actually seemed like this is a struggle for you, or seem like it's painful for you. Like all of that exasperates what you're going through and makes it that much more difficult and taxing. And so, like I said, I appreciate you coming on here, sharing your experience, sharing your ideas, sharing your thoughts. I think we got a lot of different lessons here today. One on just kind of what it means to be a committed husband, and how to walk with your wife through perimenopause. But also, I'll just say for me, I took away that it starts far beyond when your wife is, getting ready to go through something. It seems like you guys established a foundation of connection and communication early on. And it's that foundation that has truly shaped, how you guys function. It's created, in sports, we would say a culture. You know what I'm saying? And hey, what's the culture of the team? What's the culture in your household? What's the culture in your relationship? Well, the culture in your relationship seems to be mutually supportive. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's a beautiful thing, man. You know what I'm saying? To see it, to hear it. I definitely, like I said before, I think it takes a very mature man to lean in that kind of way. And so there are a lot of men who I think love their wives, do care for their wives, but I think they may not understand exactly how to do it. And so, I think for those that are listening, those that are watching, those that will see this, I think you gave some great examples throughout our conversation on just ways that you can begin to lean in and create that space, because you saying that your wife is coming to you and she's appreciative, she's grateful, that she had the space, the safe, she felt safe enough to say, hey man, this is what's going on with me. Because sometimes you can see stuff And people may try to hide it. They may try to disguise it or minimize it. But like you can see it, and like sometimes people gonna deny it. You know what I'm saying? I was one of those individuals growing up. You know what I'm saying? I was dealing with some different stuff, and you know, I mastered, or at least I thought I had mastered the art of like just like, hey man, nah, I'm not gonna let you know nothing's going on with me. You know, I'm trying to keep this straight face, and I didn't trust anybody enough to say, hey man, I'm struggling right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I need some help. And so, you know, even if that's your wife, we all go through points and periods of life where we're struggling and we need some help. And sometimes, like you said, asking the question, you know what I'm saying? You seeing it, and sometimes you got to kind of pull it out of them a little bit, but being attentive, being aware, being attuned, are all very, very powerful things to apply. So I appreciate your time, and I thank you for joining an authentic exchange, man, and sharing in this conversation that I hope creates connection.
Appreciate it, man. I'll be back because y'all gotta get me on some other topics.
We definitely will, man. Definitely will, man. This is just the beginning, man. This is just the beginning. I appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely.